Yeah, g'day, kia ora, Pastor Carl Bromley down here in the deep south with a story about a mutton bird and how New Zealand should be. Now, for those not in New Zealand, a mutton bird is a pretty special bird in this nation, very highly valued by the Māori, and in fact you need to be a certain tribe in New Zealand to be able to actually harvest mutton birds. But this Pākehā, who some would call a colonizer, has a beautiful mutton bird right here in my possession. How did I get this, you might ask? Well, that's the story. And the story of this mutton bird reflects how New Zealand ought to be. We have such racial division and separatism in this nation that you can't even discuss issues of racial separatism in this nation without being called a racist, a colonizer, etc., etc. That's what I get caught and called, not caught, called, when I even raise the subject of inequities and trying to advocate for a humanity that loves one another based on their humanity, not their race. Personally, I love my nation. I love Māori, I love Pākehā, I love everyone else who's a part of this nation. But there's this vicious, nasty, hate-filled racial separatism that has been spread in our nation. Back to the mutton bird. We were getting some fish and chips here in Invercargill. Pulled up outside the fish and chip shop, and it started bucketing down in a storm. I got out of my truck, and there's an elderly Māori man, a koro, trying to push his walking frame, trying to protect his guitar from the rain with his walking stick and his mask, struggling. I stopped because I could see he was struggling, right? To check on him if he needed help. And while doing so, a very rude woman, happened to be a Pākehā rude woman, by the way, although race shouldn't matter, but she was, just to show you that I call out anyone who is rude, I don't care what their race is. And she said, "Hurry up, I'm trying to get in that door." So rude. Obviously this elderly Māori man, this koro, was struggling, a knee injury, a walking frame, trying to do his best, and she was so darn rude. Anyway, we dealt with that. And then my wife and I offered to take Koro home to his house. So in the pouring rain, my wife gave up the front seat of the vehicle, hopped in the back. I helped Koro with his walking frame and his guitar, put him in the front seat of honour, and drove him home to his house, not far away, out of the storm and the rain. Got him settled into his home, into his house, into his whare. Hung his guitar on the wall for him, had a chat, and was going to leave, and he insisted on giving me this mutton bird. I tried to say no, thank you very much, politely. You enjoy it, but because of the Aroha shared between us. Our Aroha to love and care for him, to make sure he got home safely, and his Aroha for us in appreciation of what we did, he insisted on me taking this mutton bird. Very precious, very expensive. And I accepted it out of love to be respectful to him as a koro, as a human being. Now, this is the story of the mutton bird. This is how New Zealand ought to be. This is the New Zealand that I know, that I grew up in. It didn't matter if you're Māori or Pākehā or whoever you are. You just had Aroha, love and respect for each other. Regardless of race, you loved and respected each other as human beings. I love this koro. I appreciate him. I respect him for having this mutton bird moment to share this Aroha between each other. The sad thing is, it breaks my heart and truly saddens me. There's so much racial hatred and separatism that you can't even have an adult, objective conversation around the issues. But I wanted to share this with you to demonstrate a number of things. I'm not a racist. I love all our people, all our tangata in this nation. I love this whenua, this land. And I just long and strive for peace, true aroha and respect, mana, to be shared, to work through the issues of this land. But it's not going to happen until we value humanity first over race. Until we truly love each other and respect each other as human beings. So we can have more mutton bird moments. Aroha nui. God bless. See ya.